Well, here we are, and I just tuned in just for the opening segments of AJ's InfoWars this morning. Just kind of curious as to where they're going, where he's going. And again, I have a real problem with him not calling out Trump for his OWS because Trump's pushing it just as hard as anybody else that AJ and his crew want to point fingers at. All legitimate, but they will not point out that Trump will not tell his people. I don't care if he's in danger or not. He's allowing thousands and thousands of people to be taken in and hurt and worse by him not speaking out. So that must mean that he's complicit with it. But I'll tell you what really got me this morning. When this whole thing with January 6th was being put into place, I went to myself and I said, you know what? I wonder if they've got any kind of people in there who are going to help them control this crowd. And worse, or more importantly, I should say, have some intel that will prevent an incident occurring the way it did. Now, first of all, when you bring that many people in under the circumstances that they did, it's an impossible situation to control. So I looked at it and I said, well, here's another failure of our former DIA Lieutenant General Flynn giving them accurate information because he cannot have failed to know that there were infiltrators from the FBI and probably the CIA and others in this entire thing. And that they would maneuver the crowd just as they did in Ukraine and in other places where they've done real insurrections. The January 6th thing was not a real insurrection. I don't care who says otherwise. If they say that, they've never seen a real insurrection. But regardless, here's another failure in my estimation. And yes, I'm calling out General Flynn again. Unless he went in there and told Trump, don't do this, not here, not this way, it's another failure, just like his not knowing that the FBI was going to be looking at him in his White House interview that got him thrown out of the national security position there in the White House, national security post. Supposedly, this general knew everything about how bad the government was, and he keeps falling into it, and he lets Trump keep falling into it. Most American think in a generation, well, it was done wrong. Could I have done it differently? Well, anybody could see that this was a setup. And a lot of people were calling it, including David Knight, who doesn't even have a military or police background. He could see it. No, it was the wrong thing to do under the wrong circumstances. Hello, Ms. Cat. Thank you for your help. I got it this morning. I responded to you on a DM. Thank you so much. I just wanted to bring that up. I'm tired of these Trumpsters not holding him accountable. We see, of course, what Biden has done with this whole thing with attachments to certain firearms that aren't even part of the firing mechanism. And the precedent of that was our great and illustrious Trumpus. The governments that are at war with the people, and they're going to kill as many of us as they can, and they're all in on it. All of them. All of them. That's all I got this morning. I just wanted you to know that I'm thoroughly disgusted that AJ plays this game, and that it's just more proof that whoever is supposedly advising Trump, although I think Trump just does what he wants, but the point is, uh, Flynn could have done something about this early on. I really question everything about this guy anymore. Everything. From his support of where we go on, where we go all, the Q thing, all of that, to the fact that this entire January 6th thing was a debacle. Yes, I understand that it's the right thing to do to approach the government for redress of grievance. But Trump set up his supporters again. Again. And he's doing it again now with the OWS, convincing them all to do it. So I just thought I'd say, I saw a comment on Twitter this morning. Somebody said, hey, we need a video from you. And that's not why I did this, but I decided that this was of such importance that I should go ahead and bring something up about it. All right. I'm still planning on at some point in time. By the way, that FBI former assistant or deputy director, whichever he was, that Tucker Carlson played the clip on, I've called that for several decades now, that they're at war with the people of America. They're not out there to protect Americans. They're there because everything that's happened by the IC, the CIA, the military-industrial complex, the DOD, the FBI, all that, all over the world, everything that they've been doing is testing procedures that they could then implement against Americans here at home. That's all it's been. It was just practice, and now they're involved in it. The very things they did in Iraq, the very things they did in Ukraine, the very things they did in Guatemala, for that matter, 5 decades ago, they're now doing here, and they've been in the process. Trump for House Speaker. If Trump doesn't back off of this OWS thing, if he doesn't come out, I don't care what threats he's under, if he doesn't come out against it and tell people to stop partaking in it, he's as guilty as Fauci and Gates and Schwab and all the rest of them. All right? Okay, that's all I've got. Like I said, I'm going to try to do one more summary of Dr. Eisenman's material, kind of sum it up, give you one last piece of information on this entire thing, focusing on the letter by the Apostle James, the brother of Jesus, his letters to the overseas communities about abstaining from certain things like blood, even the intimation of blood, and how Paul violated that and took it upon himself to create a new pagan-based ritual. So I'll be finishing up. I just haven't had with this whole thing with Nancy Morgan Hart. I haven't felt up to it, and just felt like I wasn't in the proper spiritual frame of reference to address it. Okay. All right, that's all I got. If you can, you all need to get on AJ and tell him he's an asshole for doing this the way he's doing it. And I could name so many other names. Dan Bongino, I will name him. All these people covering for Trump on this asinine, this deadly attack, pretending to be a treatment. I'll just leave it like that. You know, I got to be careful what I say. And there are so many others, but I don't want to name them because I address them on Twitter. They know who they are, and I address them on Twitter. And by and large, they try to ignore me. One of them called me a moron because I asked him why he didn't call out Trump the way he is Biden. That's what I mean. The IC is sick. They think they know what they're doing. Well, if they knew what they were doing, we wouldn't be in this mess today. They're either complicit or they're the morons. Okay, there are no other answers. Okay, everybody take care. I'm out here.